I never thought I'd be writing something like this. I always believed my relationship was different, that we were solid. 13 years together, 2 beautiful kids, and the kind of quiet, trusting bond that doesn't need checking in every hour. At least, that's what I thought. I'm 35 now and my girlfriend, well, she's 34. We met in our early 20s, built a life together, and while we never officially tied the knot, we were as close to married as you could get. The house, the kids, the memories, we had it all. Earlier this year, in January, she got really into motorcycles. It wasn't entirely out of the blue. I've been riding for years. Weekend rides, solo trips, backgammon club meetups followed by a beer and some golf with the boys. I loved the freedom of it. She'd always admired the hobby, but she finally decided to get her own bike and make riding a part of her life too. At first I was excited. It gave us something new to talk about, a shared passion. But because of the kids, we couldn't always ride together. So she turned to the internet. TikTok, riding groups, forums. She started recording short videos, sharing her journey and connecting with other riders. I didn't mind at all. She's smart, charming and gorgeous and I trusted her. We weren't the type to hover over each other. I never believed in golden cages. If she wanted space, she had it. I always thought love without trust is just possession. And I wanted no part of that. That's when Peter entered the picture. She met him in February. Just another rider from the community, she said. They bonded over shared routes, biker lingo, gear tips. Nothing strange at first. She mentioned him a few times, casually. Then came March. One night, I was headed out to meet a buddy for drinks. I was being lazy and took my sweet time getting ready, so I left later than I normally would. As I walked out the door, Peter showed up, unannounced. I remember giving him a quick nod, not thinking much of it. He seemed friendly. Just another rider stopping by to talk bikes. But something didn't sit right with me later. A few days passed and I ended up checking our doorbell cam for something unrelated. That's when I saw it, Peter leaving around 11 p.m. He looked directly at the camera and, laughing nervously, said something like, "What's he gonna think?" My girlfriend answered with a dismissive tone, "If he has any questions he can ask." I did ask. She said they were just chatting outside. That he was riding around the neighborhood, and decided to swing by. Said she figured I'd already be out by the time he left. The way she said it was so casual. I wanted to believe her, so I did. I tucked that little voice of doubt deep inside and moved on. But it didn't stop there. Not long after, she told me she was heading out for a solo ride one evening. No mention of anyone joining her. She got home late and I asked how the ride went. Just making small talk, no suspicion in my voice. "It was great," she said. "So peaceful." Then I asked, "Did you see anyone?" She hesitated. "Oh yeah. Peter messaged me on the road. We ended up riding together for a bit." That pause. That extra second of silence before she said his name. It triggered something in me. It wasn't the riding with him that bothered me, it was the fact that she didn't mention it until I asked. Like she had something to hide. I told her calmly, "Next time just tell me right away. If I ask how your ride was and you met up with someone, just say it. Don't make me dig." She brushed it off with a smile. "Of course," she said. Nothing to hide. But that seed of doubt was now planted. And it was growing. I kept asking her now and then if Peter's wife knew they were riding together. She always gave vague answers. "I think so. I'm pretty sure. I don't really know." Never once did she say, "Yes, she knows. It's all out in the open." I gave her the benefit of the doubt. Fast forward to June. She started chatting with another guy, Frank. Another rider. He invited her to a MotoGP weekend event. They hadn't met in person yet and she asked if she should go. I told her to meet him first, ride with him, get a feel for who he is before agreeing to spend a weekend together. They met. Rode. She said he was cool. Fun. Relaxed. So she agreed to go. I didn't say no. Again, trust. The plan was simple. She'd leave Thursday, camp with Frank, and return Sunday. No surprises. Until there was one. She picked up Peter on the way. She never told me Peter was joining the trip. I only found out after they'd already left. She casually mentioned it in a message. "Oh, by the way, Peter's coming too." What was I supposed to do? Tell her to come home? Demand she leave him behind? No. I played it cool. Told her to have fun. Enjoy the bikes. Enjoy the weekend, I texted. But inside my stomach twisted. They all camped together. Frank brought his own tent. Peter and my girlfriend shared a tent, with multiple rooms, she said. Saturday night they left to drive back home. Frank stayed behind since he came separately. My girlfriend and Peter drove back together. It's a 3-hour trip. She got home at 3:45 a.m. When I asked why it took so long, she said they were tired and pulled over to nap in the car. I didn't push. I should have. But again, I trusted her. Or maybe I just wanted to believe the lie. And that was just the beginning. After that late night return from the MotoGP trip, something changed in me. I tried to brush it off. I told myself they were just tired. Maybe the traffic was bad. Maybe they really did stop to nap. But deep down, I knew something didn't feel right. Her eyes didn't meet mine when I asked about it. Her smile looked forced. Her story, too convenient. But I didn't push. Again. I kept choosing peace over conflict and trust over paranoia. Maybe I didn't want to be that guy who couldn't let his girlfriend have her own life. I always believed that love meant freedom, and controlling her would only push her away. But maybe I gave her too much leash, and she ran with it. About a week later, she sat me down with this weird mix of guilt and fake calmness on her face. She told me she had kissed Peter. One kiss, she said. It was nothing. We were both drunk, it just happened at a festival downtown. I felt terrible about it afterward, and I wanted to be honest. My chest tightened. It wasn't even the kiss that hit me the hardest. It was the idea that she was admitting to it only now, after weeks of keeping it hidden. And something about her timing felt off, too rehearsed. Still, I kept my cool. I asked her, "Did anyone see you kiss him?" She paused for a second, then said, "No." It was a quick moment. Nobody saw. I just wanted to be transparent. I thanked her for being honest. At least, I tried to believe it was honesty. But the next day, I couldn't shake the feeling. So I reached out to someone who was also at that festival, her best friend, Chelsea. Chelsea had gone to the event with her boyfriend, Mike, and I figured if anyone saw anything, it would be them. I messaged Chelsea casually. Nothing dramatic. Just a simple, "Hey, just wondering, did anything weird happen at the festival?" And that's when the truth fell apart. Chelsea didn't hesitate. She said yes, she and Mike both saw my girlfriend kissing Peter. Not only that, Chelsea had confronted her about it that night. And apparently my girlfriend had tried to play it down then too. That meant the confession she gave me the day before wasn't honesty, it was damage control. She only told me because she knew the truth could come out from someone else. That shattered something in me. I wasn't just being left out, I was being managed. Carefully controlled, spoon-fed half-truths only when it was safe to tell me. Every piece of honesty came with conditions and timing. Still, I kept it to myself. I didn't confront her right away. I wanted to see how deep the rabbit hole really went. Then the hammer dropped. It was Monday. We were packing up for our family vacation. Just a small getaway with our 2 kids. I tried to act normal for the sake of the kids, for the sake of pretending things weren't falling apart. That's when I got a message on Facebook, from a woman I'd never met. It was Peter's wife. The message started with, "I think you deserve to know the truth." My stomach sank. I couldn't even breathe as I kept reading. She told me that she just found out about my girlfriend in mid-July, 6 months after Peter and my girlfriend started riding together. She'd suspected things but didn't have proof until recently. Then came the bombshell. She said Peter and my girlfriend had spent the night together in Amsterdam, on May 25th. I froze. Because that was the same night my girlfriend had told me she was in Amsterdam for work. A farewell dinner for a colleague who was leaving her company. I even remembered helping her pick an outfit that night. Now the dots were connecting in horrifying ways. I confronted her immediately. "Did you see Peter in Amsterdam that night?" She looked straight into my eyes and said no. Swore up and down that she hadn't seen him. Just a coincidence. "I was there for work," she repeated. "It was just dinner. That's it." I told her this wasn't about suspicion anymore. It was about me needing the truth, no more lies. That if she continued to lie, whatever was left between us would be permanently destroyed. But she didn't budge. I tried to be calm. I tried to trust her. But I couldn't let it go. So I messaged Peter's wife again. She gave me the address Peter's phone was pinged at that night. It was a hotel on the outskirts of Amsterdam. I looked it up. My heart nearly stopped. It was the same hotel my girlfriend told me she was staying at that night. I went back to her, showed her the address, the screenshots, the timing. Told her I wasn't accusing her, I just needed to hear the truth from her lips. She still denied it. Said Peter wasn't there. Said it was just a coincidence. Same hotel, same city, same night, and she expected me to believe they didn't even meet? It was like being gaslit into madness. And yet I said nothing more. We packed up the car and left for our trip with the kids. The drive was silent. My thoughts were screaming, but my lips were locked. I didn't want to ruin the trip. I didn't want the kids to feel it. But on day 2 I couldn't hold it anymore. I broke down. I cried. In front of her. In front of the kids. I hadn't cried in years, but I couldn't stop. The betrayal, the confusion, the fact that I had to dig for every truth, it finally broke me. I asked her, "Why can't you just put me first? Why couldn't you protect our family the way you protect him?" She stayed quiet for a long time. Then finally she gave in. "Yes," she said. "Peter was with me that night." I stared at her. I didn't even have the energy to react. "But nothing happened," she added. "He slept on the couch. We just talked. I didn't tell you because he was planning to leave his wife, and I didn't want her to use this against him in the divorce. So once again she was protecting him over me, over our family. I was supposed to believe that she lied to preserve someone else's marriage while destroying her own. I didn't know what to say. I just nodded, looked out the window, pretended like I hadn't just been gutted. And still, there was more to come. I should have felt relief when she finally admitted it. Yes, Peter was with her in that hotel room in Amsterdam. Yes, they spent the night together. But somehow, that confession hurt more than all the lies before it. She looked me in the eyes, and with a voice that tried too hard to sound calm, she told me, "He slept on the couch. We just talked." That was supposed to be the end of it. That one sentence was supposed to patch over months of broken trust, half-truths, and emotional damage. And the worst part? She still tried to frame it as an act of protection, not for me, not for our kids, but for him. He was planning to leave his wife, she explained. I didn't want her to have ammo in the divorce. That's why I didn't tell you. I could barely speak. I just sat there, feeling like a ghost inside my own life. This wasn't about a single kiss anymore. It wasn't about a motorcycle trip, a camping weekend, or even Amsterdam. It was about how far she was willing to go to protect this man, while letting our entire life fall apart behind my back. That night, after the kids went to bed, I stood on the balcony of the hotel room and stared out into the dark. I kept asking myself, how did we get here? How did I go from the man she trusted enough to raise a family with, to the one she lies to in order to protect another man's divorce? I couldn't sleep. I didn't eat the next morning. And yet, I still pretended everything was fine for the kids. That's the cruel part about being a dad in pain, you don't get to show it. You bottle it up, paste a smile on your face, and carry everyone else's joy while yours is burning to ash inside. We made it through the trip. Barely. And when we got home, I decided I was done sitting in silence. I needed clarity. I needed to know if there was anything else I didn't know. Anything that would help me decide if this relationship was even real anymore. So I sat her down and asked, "Is there anything else you've been hiding from me?" She promised that was it. Swore on everything that there were no more secrets. "I told you everything," she said. "There's nothing left to say." I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her so badly. But something told me I was still just scratching the surface. So I did something I probably should have done earlier. I reached out to Chelsea again. Chelsea had always been close with my girlfriend. They'd known each other for years. And after Chelsea was honest with me about the kiss at the festival, I figured she wouldn't sugarcoat anything. This time, I asked her directly, "Did my girlfriend tell you not to say anything about the kiss? Did she lie about what you knew?" Chelsea hesitated at first. But then she said something that broke me all over again. She told me to keep it quiet. She didn't want you to find out unless she told you herself. So now, even the timing of the confession was a lie. My girlfriend hadn't told me out of guilt. She told me to get ahead of the truth. Because she knew Mike and Chelsea had seen it and might tell me. I confronted her again. This time I wasn't calm. My voice wasn't angry, but it was raw. Shaking. "You only told me about the kiss because you thought they would. Not because you felt guilty. Not because you wanted to be honest. You were just trying to stay ahead of the fallout." She didn't deny it. She just got angry. At me. She flipped the script. Accused me of digging, of trying to make her look bad, of invading her privacy by talking to her friends. That was the moment everything snapped for me. I had stayed calm through all of this. I never raised my voice. I never shamed her. I never blamed her publicly or called her names. I gave her space, understanding, trust, and she used that to shield another man, lie to my face, and manipulate the truth until it was unrecognizable. And now she was mad? I walked out of the room. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether to pack my bags or kick her out. I just knew I couldn't keep pretending that this was something we could move past. Because how do you move past a relationship where every step forward has been built on a lie? I went for a long drive. No destination, just open road. I thought about my kids. About our home. About the woman I once trusted with every part of my life. I thought about the way she used to laugh when I surprised her with coffee in bed. About how we used to dance in the kitchen when no one was watching. About how she used to reach for my hand in the middle of the night just to know I was still there. Where did that woman go? Who is this person now? When I got home that night, she wasn't waiting for me. She had locked herself in the bedroom. Lights off. Cold silence. She was shutting me out completely, as if I had done something unforgivable. The emotional manipulation was suffocating. Like being stabbed and then blamed for bleeding. I couldn't eat again. Couldn't sleep. I started losing weight. I found myself staring at my kids while they played, wondering how I was going to tell them one day that their mom and dad couldn't make it work. And even through all of that pain, I still loved her. That was the worst part. After everything, I still wanted her to look me in the eye and say, "I choose you. I'm sorry. I'll fix this." But that never came. Instead, she acted like I had betrayed her trust, for talking to her friends, for asking questions, for caring too much. She called it snooping. I called it trying to save my sanity. And now, I don't even know where we stand. She won't talk to me. Won't answer simple questions. Won't even acknowledge the years we've built together unless it's to guilt trip me into silence. I feel hollow. Like the person I loved died and was replaced with someone who sees me as the villain in her story. I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to stay for the kids. Part of me wants to run. Part of me still hopes she'll walk back into the room and fall into my arms like she used to. But the rest of me knows, that man she used to love? She left him behind somewhere on the back of Peter's motorcycle. The day after the family trip felt like a fog had swallowed our home. I was there physically, waking up, making breakfast for the kids, feeding the dog, but inside I was hollow. My body was on autopilot. Every sound, every smell, even the light coming through the kitchen window reminded me of the woman I thought I knew, and the man she let into our world. She was colder now. Detached. Maybe she felt cornered, or maybe she just didn't care anymore. When I asked if she wanted to talk, she brushed me off with the same line, "I've already told you everything. I can't keep going in circles." But it wasn't a circle. It was a spiral, dragging me deeper into disbelief and heartbreak. She spent more and more time in the garage, pretending to tinker with her motorcycle, but I knew she was talking to him. Peter. The guy I let into my driveway without thinking twice. The guy who smiled at me while stabbing me in the back. The part that cut deepest wasn't the affair itself, it was how she justified it. "He gets me," she said once when I tried to understand why. "You stopped seeing me a long time ago." I was floored. I worked 2 jobs to keep our house afloat. I cooked, cleaned, helped with the kids' homework, and stayed faithful through everything. And now I was being accused of neglect? Of not seeing her? I saw her. Every damn day. I just didn't know she was slipping away behind my back. She had started disappearing on weekends again. "Bike runs with the girls," she said. But I stopped believing anything she said. Chelsea hadn't reached out since the Amsterdam reveal. Probably didn't want to get dragged into the mess. And I didn't blame her. The kids noticed something was off. My daughter, only 9, asked me why mom didn't tuck her in anymore. My son asked if I was mad at mommy because we didn't eat dinner together. I lied to them. Over and over. Mom's tired. Dad's just busy. Everything's fine. But everything was not fine. Everything was broken. One night I sat alone on the back porch with a bottle of whiskey and that damn doorbell footage. I must have watched it 100 times. Her opening the door. Peter standing there. The way she looked over her shoulder before stepping outside and disappearing from view. Her fake smile when I got home. Her denial. Her constant rewriting of the truth. I had all the pieces now. The bike meetups that turned into romantic rides. The business trip to Amsterdam that was actually a hotel rendezvous. The accidental kiss that turned out to be premeditated. The secret conversations with a married man whose own wife warned me. The constant lies. It was all there. And still, a part of me didn't want to leave. Sounds pathetic, I know. But we had 13 years. 2 kids. A life built together. You don't just walk away from that like it never happened. I wanted to believe she would come to her senses. That she'd wake up one day, fall to her knees and beg for forgiveness. That she'd say, "I made the biggest mistake of my life." But that day never came. Instead, she pulled further away. One night, I found her sitting on the porch, texting. I didn't ask who. I already knew. She didn't even bother to hide it anymore. "You're still talking to him?" I asked. She looked up slowly, calm as ever. "Yes. He's leaving his wife." That was it. No guilt. No apology. Just a flat statement like it was perfectly normal. Like tearing apart 2 families was no big deal. That's when it hit me, she had already chosen. She chose him. Not us. Not her kids. Not the man who stood by her for over a decade. She chose Peter. The next morning I started preparing for the fallout. I made copies of all the evidence, screenshots, hotel confirmations, even Chelsea's messages. I met with a lawyer. Quietly. I started writing a letter to the kids explaining things, not now but for when they're older. They'll need to know someday why Dad left, why Mom changed. But before I left for good, I had to talk to her one last time. Face to face. No distractions. No lies. She was sitting in the living room when I came in. "I need to ask you something," I said. She didn't even look up. "Are you in love with him?" I asked. It took her a long time to answer. But she nodded. "Then I'm done," I said. "I'm not going to fight anymore. Not for someone who's already left." She looked like she wanted to say something but didn't. That was our final moment. Two strangers sitting in the wreckage of a home that once held laughter, bedtime stories, and dreams of forever. I moved out 2 days later. The house is quiet now. Too quiet. I miss the kids every second. But I FaceTime them and they light up when they see me. I'm trying to be strong, for them if not for me. Some nights I still ask myself the same questions. Could I have saved us if I just tried harder? Was there a point when things started to shift and I didn't notice? Was I really that blind? But deep down I know the truth. She was already gone long before Peter came into the picture. He was just the final crack in a foundation she'd stopped maintaining. After that night, something inside me broke beyond repair. She didn't chase me. She didn't apologize. She didn't fight for our family. Instead, she quietly moved on. Moved in with him. It's funny how people always say, love is patient, love is kind. But when someone decides they're done loving you, it's brutal. And swift. The next few weeks were a blur of lawyers, child custody conversations, and dividing memories like we were splitting groceries. The home we built together, sold. The photos of our wedding, tucked into a box I'll never open again. The motorcycle. Yes, she kept that. I tried my best to stay strong for the kids. My daughter, 11, asked me one night, "Dad, is Mommy going to come back?" I froze. My chest literally ached. I wanted to lie. I wanted to say, "Of course she is." But I couldn't do that to her. I just held her hand and said, "Mommy loves you." But sometimes adults make mistakes they can't take back. She cried herself to sleep. That night I stayed up until 4 a.m. just staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out how it all came to this. Then came the Facebook post. A week after we finalized the separation, she posted a smiling photo with Peter. Caption: "Sometimes you meet your soulmate when you least expect it." Soulmate? She used to call me that. The comments were full of clapping emojis, girls cheering her on like she just won the lottery. Not a single mention of the family she walked away from. Not a single thought for the two kids adjusting to split custody and awkward drop-offs. There's this one moment I'll never forget. She came to pick the kids up one Saturday. I was tying my son's shoes when she walked in, makeup done, hair perfect, leather jacket on. She looked radiant, like she was glowing. I looked like I hadn't slept in days, because I hadn't. She smiled politely, said thanks, grabbed their bags, and left. Just like that. No emotion. No regret. Like the last 13 years were just a season in her life she outgrew. You know what hurts the most? It's not the cheating. Not even the lies. It's that she never truly said sorry. Not for the gaslighting. Not for making me feel like I was crazy. Not for telling our kids she was just finding herself while living with another man. I didn't need a grand gesture. I didn't want her back. I just wanted acknowledgement. Something to show she understood the pain she caused. But silence was all I got. As for Peter, he divorced his wife. They're officially together now. Playing house in a downtown apartment while my kids get shuttled back and forth every other weekend. Peter waves at me sometimes when I drop the kids off. I don't wave back. It's not hatred. It's emptiness. Like, I don't even care enough to hate anymore. A few days ago I found an old voicemail from her, back when we were still dating. She was giggling, saying she missed me, couldn't wait to build a life together. I sat there, phone in hand, listening to the voice of a woman who no longer exists. And for the first time, I let myself cry. Not just for me, but for the love we lost, the family we broke, the man I used to be. Now, I'm focusing on my kids. I'm learning how to cook badly. I've started therapy, and I've blocked her on everything. Not out of anger, but to protect whatever pieces of me I have left. She made her choice. She chose the thrill, the danger, the freedom. But I sleep at night knowing I didn't give up on us. She did. And if one day she looks back and feels a flicker of guilt, Peter starts showing his real self. If her perfect little world starts to crack, I won't be there. I've already walked through the fire, and I refuse to burn again.